Saw returns with its 10th installment, directed by franchise veteran Kevin Greutert. Familiar faces include not the replicant from Blade Runner, the Blob's Shawnee Smith, and Norwegian model and actress Synnøve Makodi Lund as the beautiful doctor scientist in a horror movie. I'm guessing Tara Reid aged out of this part.
The up kind of used constellations to pinpoint a geographical location, but I don't think we could zero in more than maybe 100-mile radius.
The first act of Saw X is very slow, minus one eye-popping scene. The first half hour of this film, we follow a very sick and tired serial killer. Jigsaw is dying of cancer. The movie wants the audience to sympathize. He lumbers around taking mental notes and has several intimate conversations. There is nothing inventive about the camera work during these conversations, and the first half hour is boring. The first act ends with a predictable but necessary reveal for the story to happen, but in so doing, it demystifies the character of Jigsaw. Fortunately, the second act is better. Jigsaw calls in all of his resources. There's more atmosphere, a clever trap, and the character of Amanda returns to the Saw franchise. And Shawnee Smith breathes life back into this movie.
Get some rest, Cecilia. You're going to fucking need it.
You have your standard Saw kidnappings, but the way they take the doctor is clever. So Jigsaw rounds up all of his targets and dumps them in this warehouse in Mexico. And we still have an hour and 10 minutes left in the movie.
I'd like to play a game.
Bear with me, it's 3 a.m. I still have to somehow edit this all together and get this out today. But now we enter into the carnographic portion of the film. And this is not for the faint of heart. Impressively, the trap devices are all done practically. We have gallons of blood, prosthesis, it's a severed leg. It looks impressive as well. Jigsaw is always several steps ahead. In this, they introduce a wild card into the mix. Also, the character of the doctor, she becomes more interesting as the movie goes forward, and then her performance ramps up at the end of the film. We get more intimate conversations. Saw X becomes strangely sentimental. This part not only feels like a character farewell, but hey fans, let's try something new after this.
Listen, I'm not ready to do this without you.
You are ready. You are ready, and you can.
The film climaxes with crescendos of surprises and reveals in standard Saw fashion. Our heroes even walk off into the sunset. So beautiful. In post-production, LAPD even paid a visit to the director and editor, Kevin Greutert, because of the realistic sound design during the torture scenes. Saw X is a direct sequel to Saw and a prequel for Saw 2. In 2004, James Wan directed the original Saw, featuring nonlinear editing, inventive traps, and a twisted story with a twist. Originally designated as direct-to-video, Lionsgate delivered Saw to the theaters, and it earned over $100 million at the box office. The following year, the movie Hostel was released, directed by Eli Roth, which brings us to 2006, when New York Magazine's American film critic, David Edelstein, popularized and coined the phrase torture porn. This is nothing new to art or theater. You can trace this all the way back to the early 19th century French street theaters with their depiction of Edgar Allan Poe's The Pit and the Pendulum. America is no stranger to this. Herschel Gordon Lewis and exploitation movies in the 70s and early 80s. The appetite for this content is no different than it was back then. The difference is branding. Everybody loves an icon. Self-righteous and critics alike spit on the grave of 42nd Street in New York. In its absence, though, a void was left. And Saw, with other movies, have filled that void. And no one should be ashamed for enjoying these. It is art. Saw X is a bit uneven, but if you're 9 movies into this franchise, of course you should watch it. It's a tradition at this point. Thank you, internet friends, for visiting High Ground Cantina.